Welcome back. So in this video we are going to refine the permissions that we have given to Olivia. In as much as Olivia is our database administrator, they shouldn't also have more permissions than they deserve. So here we are looking at the principle of least privilege. Now realize that we granted Olivia IAM permissions and they have all access for read, right? They have the rights to read all information in IAM, but then they don't need that. They don't need to read all those information. We might be exposing too much information to Olivia. So what we need to do is to simulate the policy and check all the allow permissions for Olivia. So what I will do is I've already copied the policy simulator link. I'll visit that. If you are an ALX student, you should find this in your canvas. And in the policy simulator, I'll select the user Olivia and I'll only run the simulation against the IAM read-only access. For select service, I'll filter for identity and access management IAM, and I'll run the simulation against all actions. So I'll click on select all actions and I'll now run the simulation. So the simulation will be run against all the actions that I've selected, and the total is 171. And from the simulation result you can see a lot of denies there, but if I should scroll down I should see some of the allowed actions. So the total actions allowed is 69 actions, and then the total actions denied is 102, making a total of 171 actions. But 69 read-only actions must be too much for our user Olivia, so there is a need to refine this policy and grant her the least but necessary read-only permissions that she can have as a DB administrator in IAM. So I'll head back to the main account, and still in IAM we'll create a policy, but I have to say that we don't have the permissions to create a policy in this environment that we are, because we have a federated access and we have not given that authorization to create policies. So here we will have to just go through the process of creating a policy to appreciate the process, but then we'll cancel it and then we'll come back and select an exact policy that has been created for us already. So I'll head to policies, and then on the policies page I'll click on create policy. Now the first step is to add permissions or specify permissions. So on this page I'll select service, and the first service is EC2, and I'll need to specify actions that can be performed on specific resources in EC2. So I'll filter for IAM and I'll choose describe instance profile associations for list, and that will be it for the actions that can be performed on specific resources in EC2. I'll add another permission, and for this time the service would be IAM. For actions allowed, I'll filter for get and I'll select a couple of actions here. The actions I selected here is get policy version, get role policy, and get instance profile. Next I'll filter for list, and from list I'll also select a couple of policies. I'll select list attached role policies, list instance profiles, list instance profiles for role, list policies, list role policies, and list roles. Under resources I will leave the selection at specific resources, but I'll select any in this account for all the resources, instance profile, policy, and role. Now I will scroll up for us to review the JSON document, and from the JSON page you can see the policies have been populated, and these are the policies that are populated in the JSON document. So as I said, we can't create this policy because we don't have that permission to do so, but we'll go back to the policies, and there is an exact policy that has been created and it has the same JSON document as we have. So I will cancel this and click on continue, and still on policies I'll search for limited IAM policy, and if I should expand it, it has, and you can see that it has the same JSON code just as we had when we were creating our policy, or when we simulated how to create the policy. I might also want to add that the position of actions, effect, and resource doesn't matter as far as they fall under statement, right? Those ones doesn't matter. The only important thing is that the version and the statement needs to be at the top, and the rest of it can be positioned anyhow, and that is all okay. It doesn't affect anything. So I'll head back to user groups and I'll assign this limited IAM policy to our DB administrators group. So I'll head to permissions and I'll click on attach policies. On attach policies, I'll search for the limited IAM policy, select that and click on attach. Once this policy is attached, I'll go ahead and delete the IAM read only policy. I'll select that and click on remove, and that should be it. So I'll go back to the policy simulator and I'll refresh so that the policy changes that I did will reflect, and you can see that has been reflected. So once again, I'll just simulate for the limited IAM policy. For service, I'll once again filter for IAM, that is identity and access management. And for actions, I'll select all actions and now run the simulation. And you can see from the simulation results, now we only have 4 actions allowed and 167 actions denied, as compared to the previous one that had about 69 actions allowed. So when I scroll down, you should see some of the policies that we selected through during the process of creating the policies. So I can see list policy, I can see list rules, and it's exact as what we selected earlier. So back to Olivia's account, we are still on the IAM page, and you can see now Olivia is not able to list user groups because when we were changing the policy, that policy didn't include listing IAM groups, right? But when we go to roles, we should be able to see roles because it was part of the policy. So I can now view the cafe role, and I should be able to expand the SSM instance core and still see what the policy allows, right? So this limits Olivia, but then to the things that she need or to the permissions that she needs as a user or as a DB administrator, right? It doesn't affect anything. We are just trying to limit what she can read, even though she has read only access to a particular service, but it doesn't affect her duties or her responsibilities. And back to the EC2, we can still see the EC2 instance running. We are able to also view the details of the EC2 instance. So that will bring us to the end of this video. I'll end the video here and I'll see you in the next video for the lab summary and conclusion. So see you.